Hi everybody, happy Friday and welcome to Hanging with Hank. This is Hank the dog and I am Hank's human, Miss Katie from the David Landsberger Family YMCA. We're happy to have you join us today. Hank loves to share stories about animals and pets just like him, and so he's picked out an interesting one today, a very timely one, considering we're kind of in a very scary time right now with the coronavirus, or Rona, as my nephew likes to call it. And so today's story is about rainbow fish. And what happens when he faces his fears, and the lessons that he learns about common sense. So let's take a peek, take a few minutes and share the story, and we will see you on the other side. Rainbow Fish and Friends, Scaredy-Cat Fish. Based on the best-selling books by Marcus Pfister. "Come on, Puffer," pleaded Rainbow Fish after lunch one day. "Tell us a story." Puffer puffed himself up. "It was a dark and stormy night," he began. "The kind of night when ghosts swim up from the deep." "Don't tell a ghost story," cried Dinah. "I don't like those." She knew a real scientist shouldn't believe in ghosts, but she couldn't help it. "Scaredy-Cat," teased Spike. Dinah swished her tail in a huff. "I wonder what's really down in the deep," asked Tug. Nobody knew the answer. Little fish were not allowed to leave the shallow, sunlit waters of the coral reef and swim down into the dark, cold deep. Rainbow Fish and his friends knew that Jonah the whale patrolled the area of the reef and kept everyone safe, but none of them had ever seen him. "I'm not afraid of the deep," boasted Spike. "I'm not afraid of anything." "Everyone's afraid of something," said Tug. "Sometimes I worry about getting lost, just like that time in the Crystal Caverns." "Me too," said Rusty. "I'm afraid of sea storms," said Rosie. "I don't like all the thunder and lightning." "Me too," said Rusty. "Well, I don't like acting on stage," Puffer admitted, "but that's because I'm a million times better backstage." We know, Rusty," the friends cried in unison. Spike laughed at all of them. "What a bunch of scaredy-cats." "I am not a scaredy-cat," said Dinah. "I know it's silly to be afraid of ghosts. I know they're not real. That's why I play at the sunken ship. I'm trying to face my fear head on. It's not scientific to be afraid." "Scaredy-cat, scaredy-cat," sang Spike. "Quit it, Spike," said Rainbow Fish. He didn't like the way Spike was teasing everyone, and he was nervous that Spike would pick on him next. Rainbow Fish didn't want to say his fear out loud. Luckily, Miss Cuddle rang the bell and it was time to go back to class. All afternoon, Rainbow Fish thought about what Dinah had said. Maybe his fear was silly too. Maybe she was right. Maybe he should try and face his fear. After school, Rosie called, "Hey, Rainbow Fish, come follow the leader." "Sorry," said Rainbow Fish, "I can't. I have something I have to do." "Can I come?" asked Tug. Rainbow Fish smiled. "Not this time, Tug. I have to do this by myself. But thanks." Rainbow Fish swam and swam and swam until he reached the edge of the reef. There it was, what he feared most, the deep. What was down there, he wondered. Would it be friendly to a small fish with a silver scale? Rainbow Fish knew there was no turning back. It's now or never, he thought. Time to face my fear. He swam forward. Suddenly, a gigantic shape rose up from the depths of the water. Rainbow Fish couldn't move or speak or even think what to do. The shape came closer and closer. "Why, hello, Rainbow Fish," a large voice boomed. What are you doing way out here at the edge of the deep, where little fish don't belong?" Rainbow Fish looked up and saw that the huge voice belonged to a giant whale. "Jonah," he whispered, relieved. Rainbow Fish told Jonah the whole story. "Not all fears are silly," said Jonah when Rainbow Fish had finished. "If you hear a little voice inside your head telling you something might be dangerous, then listen to it. That little voice is called common sense. Listen to yourself, not to friends who tease you or call you names." Rainbow Fish nodded. He felt a lot better. "I'll watch you swim home now," said Jonah. "Remember, I'm always here watching out for you. But I want you to watch out for yourself too." "Weren't you afraid?" asked Rusty the next day when Rainbow Fish told his friends all about going to the edge of the deep. "Yes," said Rainbow Fish, "but Jonah said it shows good common sense to be afraid sometimes." "Ha! You mean nonsense," said Spike. "I'm still not afraid of anything." "Look," said Rosie, "a flying fern." "Ah! Get it off!" roared Spike as the plant fluttered onto his fins. "Quick, get it off me!" "It's just a harmless little plant," said Dinah. "It can't hurt you." "Yeah, but they're so sticky. Spike stammered. "Is that your little voice talking, Spike?" Rosie asked, giggling. Spike laughed too. "I guess it's telling me it's okay to be a scaredy-cat." The end. Being afraid, facing your fears, and being brave takes all sorts of forms. Think, for instance, about all of the nurses and the doctors that are out there right now trying to keep everybody safe from the virus and how brave they are for that. Hank, for instance, gets scared when I am not by his side or he's not looking on me. Or think about how scary it could be to do something like learn how to ride a bike and how brave you can be when you do. So those are all good examples. Parents, we have some resources and links to help you with your children and facing fears, and that's on our Facebook page. That is Hanging with Hank. It's a private group, and there are lots of other worksheets and activities and color pages that you can access when you join that private group, and that's on the David Landsberger Family YMCA page. So if you just click on that, you'll be able to access all of those. And so we thought this was a good story to share for today. We hope everybody has a wonderful weekend and a great Friday. And we will be back here on Monday at 11 a.m. here on Facebook for another Hanging with Hank. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.